Hi guys, it's Debbie and today I'm here to speak about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is a spin-off of the Harry Potter film series. As a matter of fact, it is the story of Newt Scamander. Newt Scamander was a wizard and magizoologist, which actually never appeared in the Harry Potter series, but he is the author of a textbook, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which Harry Potter owns and which is studied in Hogwarts. In 2001, J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books, actually published Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them under the pseudonym of Newt Scamander and publishing it as if it was actually Harry Potter's textbook. So as you can see, it says it is property of Harry Potter, and it is by the author Newt Scamander. There is no J.K. Rowling written anywhere. And when you open it, it says this book belongs to Harry Potter, shared by Ron Weasley because his fell apart. Why don't you buy a new one then? Write on your own book, Hermione. You bought all those dung bombs on Saturday. You should have bought a new book instead. Dung bombs rule. There's also my name written there. I wrote it when I was a child. But basically the whole book is full of these notes supposedly written by Harry, Ron and Hermione. So, for example, here we have Chudley Cannons, we have You Die, Ron Weasley, Harry loves Moaning Myrtle, and see like nice name on top of Newt Scamander's name. Then, for example, on the Ministry of Magic classifications, the 5 X's are or anything Hagrid likes, and the Acromantler has well over 10 X's there. Or for example here when speaking about basilisks, they are dangerous to most dark wizards as to anybody else, and there have been no recorded sightings of basilisks in Britain for at least 400 years, and that's what you think. And that is an obvious reference to what happens in the Harry Potter series. J.K. Rowling also published Quidditch Through the Ages, which isn't actually Harry Potter's book, but it is property of Hogwarts, as you can see. So Quidditch Through the Ages, obviously it is property of Hogwarts Library, not of Harry Potter. As a matter of fact, when we open, we can see everybody who borrowed this book. I actually put my name there as a child. So obviously we have Harry, we have Hermione, there's Fred, there's also, for example, Cedric Diggory. Both Quidditch Through the Ages and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them have raised money for comic relief, as we see behind. And I'd just like to read what Dumbledore wrote here. And it says, proceeds from the sale of this book will go to comic relief, which means that the pounds and galleons you exchange for it will do magic beyond the powers of any wizard. If you feel that this is insufficient reason to part with your money, I can only hope that passing wizards feel more charitable if they ever see you being attacked by a manticore. Albus Dumbledore. And also the price is written in, there's £2.50, which is 14 sickles and 3 nuts, the same price of the other books. So these are definitely something I am proud of having. And the film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is based on this book here. The 2016 film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is based on the life of the author Newt Scamander, and in particular the trip he made to the United States during the 1920s. So the story starts with Newt arriving in New York City by boat with a suitcase containing many different magical creatures. The situation in New York is extremely tense as a group of people, the Second Salamers, is preaching the existence of evil witches and wizards and stating that they want them completely wiped out. Also, we are later informed that the relationship between Muggles and the wizarding world in the United States is still extremely difficult, as for example they are still not even allowed to marry. Newt gets into trouble as his suitcase is switched with a suitcase belonging to a Muggle, Jacob Kowalski, who takes this suitcase home with him, opens it and accidentally frees some of the magical beasts inside it. Newt is caught by an ex-aura, Porpentina, which then helps him to capture all these beasts that are free in New York City. In the meanwhile, Mary Lou Barebone, a preacher for the Second Salamers, runs an orphanage in which she uses violence to teach the children about evil witches. She has a daughter, Modesty, and a son, Credence, portrayed by Ezra Miller. Credence is extremely reserved and very uncomfortable with the life he is living. His only hope to leave this life is by helping Honora, Percival Graves, portrayed by Colin Farrell, who wants to find a young child with unmeasured and dangerous powers. The second installment should be released 2 years from now, and J.K. Rowling has confirmed that the series will comprise 5 films. Before seeing Fantastic Beasts, I thought that 5 films would have stretched the story a bit too much, but after seeing this movie, I definitely have changed my mind because there's so much background information, so much knowledge about the wizarding world that the story could just go on and on. I also loved how the film maintained the darker look that the last Harry Potter films had because of the presence of dark magic. This film is slightly lighter as death and dark magic aren't the main themes, but we are still speaking about many unpleasant issues, so the edgy look is absolutely perfect. Regarding the casting, I am a huge fan of Eddie Redmayne, which already has an Academy Award, a BAFTA, a Golden Globe, just to name some of the awards he has received. Eddie perfectly portrays a nervous, introvert Newt Scamander, which seems to be more confident in interacting with dangerous magical creatures rather than just accepting a dinner invitation from a woman. His acting is so natural, and he definitely destroys the stereotype of alpha male superhero, which the Harry Potter series has always absolutely avoided. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is actually based on the title of Newt Scamander's book, but in the film we again have that teamwork which is typical of all the Harry Potter films and books, because Newt is helped by Porpentina's sisters, in part from the Aurors, and also from a muggle, Jacob Kowalski. In the Harry Potter series, evil is never defeated by a single hero, but victory is always a result of teamwork. I think Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them could probably be watched without having watched all the previous Harry Potter films or read the books, because it takes place decades before Harry Potter was actually born. It does give for granted a lot of information, for example, who auras are, what is apparating and disapparating, some certain spells, the concept of dark magic, the relationship between muggles and the wizarding world, the existence of Hogwarts, and so on. But probably you could watch it anyway without having seen all the other Harry Potter films, because the plot is quite easy and understandable. Let me know what you thought about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them with a comment here below, and what your expectations for the future installments are. See you soon in a new video. Bye!